Hey y'all. Welcome. I guess this is another welcome back. The NBA is right around the corner, but I wanted to specifically talk about what today's show is going to be about. I sat down for about 30 minutes with a good friend of mine, Pedro Bradshaw. He's been a long time just guy I can rely on. He's been a guy that's just been in my life, and he's a basketball player. Plays in college, plays for Bellarmine. He's been a guy that's transferred three times to three different schools and finally settled at Bellarmine and really found a home. So we sat down for around 30 minutes and just discussed what it's like being a transfer and being an athlete that moved around a lot during his college career. So just sit back, enjoy the conversation. It was a good one. Excuse my niece in the background. She kind of was going crazy. So hopefully, it's not overbearing. If you want to skip ahead during the times where it's a bit louder, her crying is a bit louder, feel free to do so. But it was a good conversation, and I promise the next one will be better. We're going to try to bring on more guys just to talk, and we're going to have Pedro returning to the podcast. We're going to be talking about a lot of basketball things. Anyway. I'll let you have the conversation. Fair warning, it is the Zoom call audio. I forgot to hit record with my mic. Anyway, may the rest of your day be the best of your day. So basically, I wanted to get kind of an inside look at what it's like being a college athlete that's transferred a couple times. That's been one of the things that has been talked about a lot is like the transfer rules in college sports and like how it affects athletes and teams and such. And you're somebody that you've been to three schools and trying to find a place where you feel most comfortable and able and where you feel you're able to really contribute and help. So kind of like walk me through a bit of your backstory from high school to where you're at now.
Oh man, it's been a wild ride
Mm-hmm.
to say the least. So high school, I was one of the top 2, 3 players in the state my last 2 seasons, and I was invited after my junior season, the summer going into my senior year. I was invited to the NBA Top 100 camp in at University of Virginia, and I played there. Got a chance to meet a lot of guys that are in the league now or are about to go to the league, and just getting a chance to see that talent was amazing. So I was picking up a lot of steam as far as my recruitment, and I kind of wanted to get it over with, honestly. Like I liked it, but it started getting old.
Right.
And but I started picking up high major interests, like Kentucky and Louisville called me the day literally before I committed to Belmont. Tennessee, Xavier, Mississippi State. So, but my thing was, okay, that's cool, but I want to play right away. I
Right.
had the confidence that okay, well, I can contribute in some way to a team next season as a freshman. So I felt like the best bet for me was to go to Belmont. You know, and I felt like it was the perfect fit. Hall of Fame coach, great guys,
Right.
healthy atmosphere, great education, all that. So I went there, and all freshmen, when you first get there, you're learning. You take your bumps and bruises early, but as I started getting into the flow of things, I'm starting to improve, and I started beating out some of the older guys that were in my position. But I found that a lot of, and this wasn't just this situation, but a lot of coaches will play the older guys because they're older. They've been in the
Right.
system, they
Right.
play, they trust them. They're older. So that makes sense. And but my thing, I was being hard headed. My thing, I was asked to redshirt, and I didn't want to. And my thing was, well, I'm beating these guys out, like so I can play. Like I'm showing that I can
Right.
play. But I wasn't thinking long term. Like, okay, we'll just sit out, get stronger, continue to improve, and then next year, you can really do your thing.
Right.
But like I said, man, my thing was I just wanted to play, and I was extremely impatient. So after about 9 games, I ended up leaving. So I left at Christmas break, went through the process of transferring, and it's tougher when you transfer mid-season because there's not as many scholarships because you're in the middle of a season.
Right.
So my final few options that I narrowed it down to, I knew I didn't want to go JUCO. I wanted to stay Division I. So my final few options were Missouri State, Washington State, and EKU. And EKU recruited me really hard out of high school. And I felt like that was the best fit. You know, it was the same conference, but Coach Bird didn't put any restrictions on me. So I decided to go there, and I really knew a lot of the guys that were on the team already.
Mm-hmm.
So I get there.
Was it
Yeah.
EKU recruited you out of high school, so there was already that established trust, or?
Yeah. It's funny because I'm still really
he left
good.
the coach. They got a new coach, didn't they?
Yeah. So Coach McHale recruited me hard, and one of his assistants, who's now my assistant coach here at Bellarmine, he offered me the scholarship over the phone.
Oh wow!
Yeah, when he was at EKU. So yeah, man, I get there, everything's going good. You know, the coach is talking to me and talking about how well he thinks will go, how well he thinks things will go next year, and you know how big of a role I have an opportunity to play, yada yada. And like a couple months after I get there, he gets the boot. You know, he gets fired.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, well, damn, like I just got here.
Right.
Like, dang. So everybody's scrambling, trying to figure out what to do. And they obviously bring in a new coach. And, you know, I had never met him. He'd never met me.
There wasn't that level of trust.
Yeah. And I didn't have any, like, disrespect or malice towards him. I don't.
You didn't know.
Yeah. And, he saw that I was disappointed, and he knew, like, because he would ask the players and the guys around the team, like, about what everybody was thinking. And
Mm-hmm.
they all knew, and he knew that I was real close with Coach McHale.
Right.
And I was disappointed. So I wasn't going to just be like, oh, you know.
Hey, right.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, but I never, like, disrespected him or anything. It just was, you know. So the year goes on, and things don't really go as planned. I have to wait until December because that's when I left Belmont. So I have to wait until December to start playing. I play my first 2-3 games, solid minutes, and then I'm down to playing like none at all, like nothing at all. So
it's like you left one situation to be right back in the same place.
Yeah, exactly. So it was so rough, man, and so things obviously didn't pan out that way. At the end of the season, he calls me into his office for a meeting and tells me, you know, your best bet if you want to play next year is to find a new program.
Mm-hmm.
So he was wanting to bring in his own guys, which, I mean, I figured that was going to happen anyways. So now I'm back on the market again. And it's tough too, man, because I generally don't care what people say, but at the same time, it's hard to not see and hear certain stuff. Mm-hmm. So some of it was like, well, damn, he's transferring again. He must be the problem, you know? So that type of stuff, hearing and seeing that type of stuff was kind of really hard on me. But me and the people that were close to me and that know me, they knew that, you know, that's not him, you know, not no head case, you know. Right. But obviously, like I said, I was having a tough run of luck. And so on this situation, I narrowed it down to 2 or 3 schools. It was Bellarmine, Chaminade down in Hawaii. Anyway, so like I said, Coach Doug Davenport, he was at EKU. So I already had that really good relationship with him from the jump. And Bellarmine, you know, they were a hell of a Division II program, got a national championship. Great coach, Hall of Fame coach again, you know, great program, great guys, great education. It's basically Belmont.
Right.
Basically. So now that's kind of how I've gotten here, man. And last season, got a chance to get in with the guys and learn the offense and just kind of continue to grow and try to improve, man. And the coaches, they have a lot of faith in me. They started me last season, started every game but 4. And averaged like 9.5 points, 5.5 rebounds, a couple assists. And We finished 20-8, and we had an opportunity to play in the NCAA tournament as a 5 seed, and we obviously didn't get to play.
Right.
So now I'll be going into my redshirt junior year, and have an opportunity to step up as the guy, for the first time since I was in high school. And the coaches expect me to be the guy and a leader or one of the leaders on the team. So it's some pressure, but it's nothing I'm not used to. But it's exciting. So I hope we get a chance to play this year. But me and my grandfather were talking, like, I've been through hell and back already. So this isn't
Right. This isn't anything new,
Yeah. So,
I mean, I think that if you play out your college, like if you put your college career in a simulation machine and do it 100 times, like this one would be the one worst outcome, Like there's an outcome there where you're a standout at Belmont, and there's an outcome where you're a standout at EKU if that coach stays, and it's just that life kind of gets in the way sometimes of the way you had things planned. But if you could, hop in a time machine and go back and tell your younger self some advice now that you're kind of on the opposite end of going through that shitstorm, like what would you tell yourself?
Man, it's tough, man, because I try not to have any regrets, because I feel like everything happens for a reason. Like I said, man, I've went through hell, but in that whole process, I learned so many lessons, man, like so many. And I was kind of naive to a lot of the stuff. And now I'm like, okay, well, I know this, and I love my coaches, but at the end of the day, everyone knows that coaches lie in some shape, form, or fashion. But hell, I didn't know that.
You just took it at face value.
Yeah. So, but like I said, man, I don't really regret it. I can't say I don't think about being at Belmont and what it would have been like if I got a chance to stay and play with G and Nick and Caleb, those guys. But I'll probably go back and tell myself, hey, man, just be patient. Simple as that. But, like I said, I try not to have any regrets. And
you really dwell on it,
Yeah. So I can't lie, though. When I seen, I always root for G and Nick and them, and I would watch every game I could on ESPN Plus. But, man, seeing them in the NCAA tournament, it was great for me to see them.
But it kind of hurt.
It hurt me, man. It hurt so much.
That game against Temple in the first four, and then that Maryland game. That Maryland game, I think, is one of the best college basketball games I watched that year. Maryland front court, they had Bruno Fernando there, and they had an NBA level front court, and to see a team like Belmont hang with them, that was really impressive. And Dylan Windler showed out. I sometimes think back to the play, because they ran the same play that they got a win over UCLA, I think that year it was on. But this time against Maryland, the pass didn't go through. And I kind of think of what would have happened if Coach Bird just went 4 down and let Dylan ISO at the top of the key.
Right, because it was hot that night.
I know, he could not miss. And I sometimes wonder, I was like, I feel that, if you simulate that game 100 times, maybe that happens and maybe he hits a shot, because he couldn't miss. That was one of the best performances I've seen from him. And he was one heck of a player. Vivid memories of some of his best games, like the 30 points and 15 rebound type games. And so I think that that game, and I can't imagine what it was like from your end, like you were at practice with those guys, and then to see them in the tournament, it's like a bit of joy, but a bit of dang, I wish I was there too.
Right. And then for Dylan particularly, me and him were always cool, but since I left, the only one I'm really in contact with for real are the guys that I came in with, G and Nick, Tate, Caleb, and Amanze. But Dylan taught me a lot, and he didn't even realize it.
Really?
Yeah, when we would practice, you have 2 teams.
Right.
Always the one guarding him.
Right. Oh, he was giving you that work?
No, I mean, he was hooping, but we would kind of go back and forth. But I learned, because I already rebounded the ball. That's one of my strengths. But seeing him do it was wow. because he's like 6'8", 6'8.5", really, and he's got long arms. He would crash the boards every single time. He was always cutting. And at that time, his handle, as far as like trying to score off the bounce, wasn't really there, but he could still shoot the lights out, man. So you always had to be up in him,
Right.
you know. But he was just so versatile, man. And I've never met anyone that is good at everything that they do. Like, literally, great student. He's good at every single sport. He can dance. Like, it's wow.
Yeah.
So
Can you kind of take me through from each stop on your journey until you got to Bellarmine? What has been like your favorite memory at each place, if you could pick one?
I guess at Belmont, it would probably be just me hanging out with the other freshmen at that time, you know, with Grayson and Nick and Caleb and Tate and Lil Mo. Just us just hanging out, man, just having a good time, you know, running around campus, going on late night food runs, being broke. Well, me being broke, you know, they all got money. But just that, man, they're just a great group of guys, man, and I love and miss them to death. But EKU probably would be kind of a similar situation, just hanging out with certain guys, like learning from Nick Mayo, you know, as far as leading.
Another guy that was just really good, man.
Yeah, man. And Nick, like the leading aspect, like he didn't talk. Like me and him, we still talk to this day. He's one of the goofiest guys I've ever met, but you would never know it unless you bring it out of him.
Right.
But as far as leading, he wouldn't lead by talking. He would lead by example. And Bellarmine so far, I don't know, man. I guess I got some more memories to make.
Right.
Yeah, it's just, I think overall, man, just being with a certain group of guys, man, just a chance to spend time with them and connect and just be around each other, man. It's amazing, honestly. You know, you're making such great connections that, you know, hopefully certain guys will be there for you on down the line, you know, when you have your family, when you get married or things like that, you know.
Right.
It's really great, man. It is.
So can you tell me a bit about what it's like when you're in that transfer portal and you're kind of your future's up in the air? What are some of the things that you had to deal with that were the same and different both each time?
Kind of like I said too, man, like everybody knows that I can, you know, and I'm not saying like that, but everybody knows that I can play, you know. But the thing was, okay, we know he can play. For certain schools, it was like this. We know he can play, but what the hell is going on? Like, why does he keep leaving? You know?
Right.
So there was some pessimism that came along with that, you know? Like I said, and I'm a, you know, likable guy. So, like, they rock with me, but they would be like, all right, man, like, shoot me straight. Like, what's going on? And I would always explain, okay, well, this was going on. This would happen. This would happen. And then, you know, they're obviously going to talk to that coach. So I don't know what he was telling them, you know, but yeah, they were just trying to figure out what was going on each time. Cause they're like, okay, well, you obviously something's happening where you're not sitting still.
Right.
And I've got, like I said, like I had family members that, you know, we're not close. So I'm like, damn, man, like, why do you keep leaving? I'm like, well, shit, they fired the guy I came to play for after I left. I tried to, you know, I tried to stay, like, and then the new guy told me to leave. So, like, what do you want me to do?
Right.
So, but like I said, man, things have obviously worked out. It's just crazy that I've had to take such a long road to try to get to the position that I'm in now. But I don't know, man. It hurt some of my relationships too. Friendships, like even like with me and you and like females too, you know, like I couldn't. It's like a kid that moves schools every year, every 2 months.
Really get close to people.
Yeah, like I would be in certain situations where, okay, well, I like this girl, and I want to date her, but I gotta leave. Like I'm
Right,
transferring,
right,
So
right.
like it
It
was
puts you in
tough.
that place of you can't get too close, but you're also feeling kind of like lonely, and like it's that, like, not even in like personal relationships, but in team relationships. It's like, man, I really like the guys here. I like the assistant coaches, but the head coach wants me gone, and I don't know.
Right,
I don't want to get too close just to like be all upset when I have to leave.
right.
Right.
So leaving both places, man, it was
Mm-hmm.
extreme stuff. Like me and you, we talk about that, man. Like
Right.
just me and you were getting really close, man. We hung out every day, every other
Right.
day, and
And then it just all changes, and it's like, what can you really do about it? And
right.
I mean, when you think about kind of this experience of different schools and different places, and I mean, it's going to be one heck of a story. But what do you think the end game is going to look like? Like, what do you hope that it looks like?
Man,
Like, hoping that Corona's all gone by either this season or your redshirt senior year. I mean, what do you hope it looks like?
man, I think it's just a blessing that I still have my health,
Mhm.
and that I'm able to still, after everything that I've been through, still have an opportunity to do what I set out to do, since
Mhm.
I was, which is get played to play basketball.
Mhm.
I still have that opportunity either next year or the year after or whatever, to become a professional. And that's my end game, man. Become a professional basketball player, Lord willing. And whenever the ball stops bouncing for me, become like a sports broadcaster, analyst,
Right.
news anchor.
Just talk
You know,
about the game a little bit.
yeah, man. I want to stick around the game whenever the ball stops bouncing for me, man, or be on a TV screen. You know,
Oh,
so but yeah, man. So just I definitely that's plan A though, and I've worked so hard to get there, and like I said, it's a blessing within itself that I'm still in a great position
right,
where I can pursue that,
right,
realistically.
right.
So
Where, if you could, I mean, obviously, like everybody would want to play in the NBA, but what professional league would you want to play in? France, Spain, England? If you could pick a professional league that you'd be like, that's the place where I'd want to play, if not the NBA.
man, it's tough. There's so many great leagues, man, and I have done my research, but not as much as I probably should, as
Mm-hmm.
far as like overseas leagues, because it varies obviously wherever you end up, whatever country you're in.
Right.
But honestly, man, I like either Spain, or in the Euro League or the Turkish League,
Mm-hmm.
or the NBL, in Canada,
Right. Do you
or
think? Well, do you think that going forward, like, if you say you have a really great season, if we're able to play basketball this fall and winter, would you consider going to play professional early, or would you stay?
um. Wait, let me. I'm gonna answer your question. Let me backtrack. Is the NBL, is that Australia or Canada?
Australia.
Okay,
Australia.
that's what I
Yeah.
thought. Canada too, though. No, but no, I would. It just depends on, like you said, it just depends on how things go this year. I would like to test the waters and see, if I can get workouts and how the workouts go, and
Mhm.
what teams are saying, or if I can get any interest overseas, or
Mhm.
summer league, training camp, G League, whatever,
Mhm.
and just kind of get some feelers out there and just kind of go from there with it. It all just kind of depends. I would love to get my professional clock started
Mhm.
as early as, that way I can play,
The longest.
hopefully as long.
Yeah.
But if things don't work out the way I want to this season, it's no big deal for me to come back and do, my fifth year.
Mhm. When kind of, well, the really simple question is what's your game like these days? Like how, what have you added? I guess.
I'm continuing to get more consistent as far as shooting the three.
Mhm.
Uh, my passing is still my biggest strength. that's I feel like that's always going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Ball handling still there. Just continuing, honestly. As I've gotten older too, I'm learning to slow the game down
Mm-hmm.
for myself, and just continuing to play on the ball and make certain reads out
Mm-hmm.
of the pick and roll. And
Right.
it's tough because we don't, our offense is spread,
Mm-hmm.
motion, so we don't use the pick and roll, and if we do, it's very, very rare, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So, but just continuing to make certain reads out of the pick and roll, and continuing to slow the game down for myself. And it's going to take more time, and it gets better as you get older.
Mm-hmm.
But that, and obviously getting stronger, that all goes into it as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough for me because I'm practically the same weight that I was out of high school. Maybe 5 or 6 pounds more. So it's hard for me to put weight on,
Mm-hmm.
because my metabolism is so high. So I can eat 2 cheeseburgers right now, Ian, and go run it off tonight. No, like,
Right.
for real. So it's hard for me to maintain that weight.
Mm-hmm.
So I continue, and my body's just different. It'll catch up to me one day. But
Okay. It will.
no, yeah, I dread that day, but it will catch up. But no, I just continue to try to get stronger. That way, guys can't push me around or push me up under the basket, or if I'm posting, they can't move me off my spot, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm able to play through contact more, and I am
Mm-hmm.
getting better at that. Just being able to get by guys. If they bump me up top, I can still get by them and get to the rack,
Mm-hmm.
or so. But just continuing to improve in all areas, man.
And I guess what is your goal kind of headed into this preseason? What is your goal for what 2020
Uh,
to 2021 would look like? You're going to have
it's
more offensive priorities. You're going to be a higher option in the offense. So what do you want to kind of do with that opportunity?
honestly, man, I have goals personally, but I try not to set them, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Obviously, I want to compete at the highest level, and if we get a chance to play, do what we can in the non-conference, and we're going to go out there, we're going to play every game to win,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, but we're going to take our lumps. We're a new Division I
Right.
team, but I think we have a chance to win our conference, the
Mm-hmm.
ASUN. I think we're going into the perfect position in that right. So just try to win our conference, and hopefully get a bid in the NIT and take care of business on that aspect. But personally, just continue to go out each and every day in practice and in games, and just try to make my teammates better and do whatever is needed of me in order for us to win. And if I do that, I feel like everything stat wise and all that other stuff will take care of itself.
Right. Um, how are you making sure the game stays fun?
Um, Honestly, man, like, I watch a lot of film.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I get my workouts in, and I'm learning different ways to try to get better. Like, one of my friends he used to play at the high school that I went to, and I kind of
Mm-hmm.
looked up to him growing up. He's 3 or 4 years older than me, but he used to work out like crazy, and he used to wear a weight vest like 24/7, walk around in it, run in it, play in it, whatever. So he ended up giving me his weight vest. I asked him for it. He gave it to me. So I've been running in that and working out in that and shooting in that, and that's made my shot a little smoother. Now I have to continuously do it in order for it to get like stuck.
Mm-hmm.
But that's one of the things. Just, I think when you see yourself improving, like truly improving, I think that makes it fun. You
Mm-hmm.
know. But yeah, the film too, man. Like, I watch a lot of film. Like, I have Synergy, so I'll watch college and some international and NBA. So, and I YouTube, I find whatever I can on there.
Mm-hmm.
But I watch a lot of Brandon Ingram, Sean Livingston, Kyle Anderson, and just see the way that they play. Because I feel
Mm-hmm.
like their play styles are similar to mine. And even Kyle Anderson, he's 6'9", but he does everything, you
Mm-hmm.
know. Ingram's 6'8", 6'9", and he does everything. And we have the same build, you know, we kind of play the same way. And Sean Livingston, we have the same build. He's 6'7", 6'8". We play the same way. You know, so I try to take little pieces out of their games and see if I can implement it into mine. You know, like Kyle Anderson's passing.
Right.
You know, Ingram and Livingston, they have the post up and mid range game.
Right.
You know, like that. So and I watch how Ingram, and he's, like I said, he's skinny as hell, but he's getting stronger. You know, so it's a big difference from his rookie year to now.
Right.
Like seeing get off the dribble and get off the bounce and get by guys after taking contact. You know, it's different. So just things like that, like little things like that. Like I said, I try to pick from them and try to implement it into my game.
Okay. All right. Well, that's about all the questions that I have. And so I appreciate it. I appreciate your time, man. There you have it, guys. Me and Pedro's conversation. He was a wonderful guest, offered a lot of insight into the world of being a student athlete that's moved a bunch of colleges and kind of changed the scenery around him, and coaches have changed. But he's remaining hopeful. He's going to have a good season this year, and he's going to do great things. He's going to be the primary option at Bellarmine, and it's really his team. So can't wait to see that happen. We'll be following up with him in a further show. As always, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. My Twitter @ is IanK or IANKAY. And my Instagram is my name, Ian_Kayanja. So that's IAN_KAYANJA. That's where I post a lot of my written articles. This podcast was brought to you by RateMyCollegeCoaches.com, also known as Unfinished Business. And it was brought to you just by goodwill and good nature. May the rest of your day be the best of your day. As always, stay safe.